Welcome everyone to the Purposeful Living Conversations by the Friends of Purpose in Christ. We are a network of Christian friends who help ourselves in our Christian work, working in purity before God and making impact here in this life. And tonight we have a wonderful theme about scholarship opportunities abroad. We had a similar theme a fortnight ago, and it was about education opportunities abroad. And we gained insight into the application process, how to apply, the challenges, the funding opportunities, where to apply to. Our panelists did a wonderful work. And we want to narrow it down tonight to the funding opportunities, because funding is a challenge for many. And we're glad to have Dr. Yeboah with us, who will guide us through this discussion. But before we pray, we want to remind ourselves that we are being streamed on Facebook, on YouTube, and Twitter. So if you have any challenge with the Zoom, or someone is complaining about the Zoom, please remind the person that we've been streamed. Thank you. Please let's pray together to begin. Mighty Father, we thank you for this. We thank you for your plans for us, which are always for good. We thank you for this discussion, that you are with us, and in the end, your purpose will be made known. Be with us throughout this discussion, and your name will be praised in the end. Thank you for answered prayer. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Yes, Dr. Yeboah.
Yes, I'm here, I can hear you.
We have this wonderful panelist, a season one. I was informed that he's been on scholarship for a very long time. He's enjoyed this, and for which reason he's the best to help us gain insight and knowledge into how to get scholarship abroad. He's well versed in this field. And thank you for honoring our invitation. So Dr. Yeboah has a Ph.D. in molecular and cellular biology neuroscience from the University of Washington. He has a professional certificate in strategic management from the Wharton Business School, University of Pennsylvania. He also has a certificate in technology entrepreneurship from the Michael Foster School, University of Washington. And his accolades goes on and on and on. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
So, Doctor, we already have questions rolling in, but before we do that, please give us your presentation, your talk on educational, scholarship opportunities abroad. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me, and my sincere apologies for coming late. I didn't plan for traffic, and it did happen. So sorry about that. But also thanks to Daniel for inviting me. I want to acknowledge before everyone here that Daniel is a great friend. I consider him my brother, and I'm so honored that he invited me here. So I don't have a presentation per se. I just wanted to really be a time of just conversations where we talk. And I will just share maybe some more highlights into my background, and then we can go from there. So yeah, I did high school in Ghana with Daniel. Then so I took the SATs, came here full ride. I thank God for all of this. So I don't want you to ever think it's been by man's strength. I'm just grateful to God that I got to benefit from all this. So I got a scholarship for my undergrad, and I did something like a master's for 2 years afterwards, and then I went straight into my PhD. So throughout the journey, as you may hear me say, I've had funding for everything, so I've not had to worry about paying fees since I stepped foot in this land. So that has been my journey till now. I finished my PhD over the summer, and I work for a consulting company. So that's what I do now, and I'm passionate about this because a friend told me about the SAT while we were in Opokuware. So it's just a passion of mine that as many people as I can tell about opportunities here, that's something I would gladly want to do. So again, my background is mostly STEM, but again, it's the scholarship opportunities I read about cut across various fields, from business to, I think I heard something about IT before joining, to IT, to so many other fields. So as much as I know, I'll share. And for those I don't know, if there are people, I can share my contact and we can get into follow-ups and things like that. So it's just going to be a conversation. So I don't have slides per se, but that's my background. And I'll be willing to just jump into the question so we can have this conversation going.
Okay, thank you for this. For the questions, I think you'll be overwhelmed, but we are glad you'd answer all of them if it's possible. So we had David Owusu asking us that for the scholarship opportunities, we want to know if everyone is eligible. I don't know why he's not talking for himself, but he's asking if everyone is eligible or there's a criteria for anyone who wants to enjoy this.
I mean, valid question. I think for everything in life, you have to be eligible one way or the other. Even to go to heaven, you have to be eligible, right? So
Yeah.
I think but I think the main question behind that question is there are a lot of scholarships here that are just for the indigent. So you have to be a citizen or permanent resident before you can get that scholarship. So there are those ones, but there are other ones that are general that anybody could benefit for. So normally when I see a scholarship opportunity, the first thing I do is I scroll to the eligibility part of it, right? And I read, does it state that it's for US citizens and permanent residents? If that's the case, I'll gladly not worry myself over it, right? So that's how it is. Sometimes it's not stated. So all you have to do is just send an email or call the number or whichever office is administering the scholarship and just get the information. Hey, do I qualify? This is it. And then I guess you go from there.
Okay, so David, your question appeared ignorable, but it's very necessary for us to know that there are criteria for everything. And for this scholarship opportunities, as Dr. Fred explained, there's eligibility criteria, and he's done well in explaining that. I hope you've been answered. Thank you. And before I go to the questions written from us, we have Ernest. Ernest wanted to voice out before you stepped in, yes. So Ernest, please go ahead. Hello, Ernest. Okay. He sent a message that he's okay now.
Yeah, I would want him to finish with this presentation, and I think I will fill up with the question, please. Thanks so much.
Please, he's taking questions now, so you can please go ahead.
All right. Okay. So I wanted to ask. Mine was about the funding and about yes, please. So a friend of mine actually contacted me. Was it some few months ago that he said he had issues with his funding. They were requesting for some bank statement. I want some little overview of it. He said he wants some bank statement. His bank account is not up to the said amount. So he applied for the scholarship and he had it. But they said they wanted to see whether should he lose the scholarship, he's capable of paying it. I don't know how it went about. So I wanted to know, how is the scholarship like? Let's say if I don't have any accounts as I talk now, I don't have any, let's say, considerable amount in my account. Am I eligible to apply for the scholarship? I think my question, I don't know whether it's clear.
It is, and it's a very valid question. Actually, I think before you even go for the visa interview, I think so. This is what I think. Again, these are my opinions, right? So somebody may disagree, and that's totally fine. I think what they want to see is that at the end of the day, you don't become a burden to the country or to the school. So even if you get a full scholarship, right? I've seen it two ways. Some people get full scholarships. They go to the embassy, just the US embassy in Ghana for their visa. And the conversation is just about, oh, how is your day going? Oh, wow, you got this, congratulations. That's it. They never mention anything about bank statements. Somebody also got a full ride, like full scholarship. And yet they were asking, okay, what's your bank statement? The goal is, because most scholarships have something attached to it that you have to maintain a certain GPA. That's your grade point average. That you don't get a scholarship and come and you just don't go to class, flunk all your exams, right? So they attach these things to make sure that although we're giving you the scholarship, you are still going to maintain that level of academic excellence once you make it here. So they ask that in case that, okay, well, Ernest, congratulations, we're going to give you full funding. How do we know that? Because they're only giving you the scholarship because you have merited it, right? It's not just a gift, but Ernest, you have worked hard on either your GRE, SAT, GMAT, whatever it is. So based on that, they're giving you the scholarship. So when you are coming here, you are coming to add to how rich their academic environment is. So if Ernest gets here and he just stops going to classes, flunking it, then it's like the goal of the scholarship has failed. So that is why they ask that, okay, knowing that that could be the case, because people get to America and they think that's it. They just stop all the good things, quote unquote, they did to get them here. So it's a safeguard for the school, it's a safeguard for the country, so that if you lose the scholarship, then you can still continue. About the bank statement, I'll be honest with you, what a lot of people do it, and some people have a business, you go to someone and get a bank statement, especially if you know that you are not going to pay, but they just want it as a proof. I didn't have it when I was coming. So I just got a bank statement from somebody who had it, right? And I showed it to them. I told them, this is my case. I have 100%. I promise you when I go, I'm not going to fool around. I'm going to stay steady, but I still need to show the bank statement. So could you please help me? And somebody gave me the bank statement and told me there will be a sponsor in case, right? So I think that's why they normally request for that, Ernest.
Thank you, Dr. Fred. Ernest, I hope you've been answered.
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So please, we have another question that, what are some of the things I should consider when choosing the country to study?
Oh, I think I'll probably be the wrong person to answer this, just because so from Ghana, I just came to US, right? So I've not been able to travel outside, and I've not really read much on that. So I'm just going to give that full disclaimer that I don't know much. I think I heard that UK, so the goal for most people is they come to school and maybe they come back to Ghana or they stay in the US and work, right? So you have to know what your goal is. I think the UK just started. So the US, if you do something in STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math, you get 3 years after school to stay, right? Companies can employ you and file for the citizenship, permanent residence, kind of all those things for you. So that's one thing I like. I think the UK is now catching up and they just started something like that. But I honestly don't know much. I think I'm told Canada is the best because they are point system. Again, I don't know much about it. But I would say that the US is a good place. Canada, I'm told, is also good. UK, I'm not so sure about what their funding situation is. So yeah, that's as much as I know.
Thank you for your honesty and thanks for also answering. We had a similar question when we treated the education opportunities abroad too. To Mary, who asked this question, please, on YouTube, we have the video there. The question was answered. And as you mentioned, we spoke about UK, Canada, and USA, and we talked about the duration in the program you want to study. You consider the duration and the funding opportunities. Those are factors to consider. But when you visit that YouTube video, you get more details on it. Thanks, Dr. Fred. Please, another question is, assuming that you have secured admission and your funding, how do you connect with other students before you even enter the country?
That's a very good question. I didn't do that when I was coming. So I go to the school and I'm like, oh, okay, this is the school. Yeah. And because I think now a lot of people are coming, so it's easier. So maybe you get admission to a school, you can ask what we call the Office of International Students or the International Student Director that, hey, are there any students from Ghana, Nigeria, whatever country you're coming from, that you can connect me to? So I think that's the safest way to ask the Office of International Students or the International Student Director for that. So I guess that's about, aside that, like, friends who are schooling here, and sometimes we don't have to be at the same school, but it can give you advice about the general living conditions in the country you are hoping to enter, right? So you can ask for that general advice, pick whatever they share that applies to your situation, and then I guess you can go from there.
Great answer. And we know of LinkedIn too, where you can connect with professionals. So you can find out from there too. And as you mentioned, you can find out from the school you've been admitted into. You can find out from there. They will link you up. Thank you. And from Joseph, he's asking that are there job opportunities that are allowed for international students under their visa arrangements? Please, you can streamline it to USA because that's where our focus is this evening.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
for the US, yes. Yes, because so they have something called CPT. CPT or even CPT is even like another level. You can work on campus like for 10 hours, right? 10 hours a week. So most international students literally are either, tutoring a subject, working in the library, doing, it could be anything, right? So you can find a job on campus and do it. And that's kind of the legal way of doing things. You can also do what's called CPT, that's finding a job that's off campus, but then it has to go through a procedure, and then you go through that procedure. I think as long as you do less than 20 hours a week, like you should be good to go. So you just go through that procedure and you can work off campus as well. The caveat I would say is sometimes when people come, and I face the same situation, like I was here schooling in the US. This was when I first came from my undergrad. And there will be people in Ghana calling and telling me, hey, you should go do this, you should go do that. I'm like, interesting. The person is in Ghana, but they believe they know more. They know more than you.
Than
And
you there.
yeah, and it's a pressure, it's the pressure like a lot of people face. And so they're like, oh, go do under the table, go do this. I think, like I'm not going to speak for them, but this is how I like to think of life. Think of the grand scheme of things, right? You came here for school, and after school, you are hoping that you get a degree that will help you in. So it's a period of a sacrifice in your life. So you don't have to necessarily go do any illegal jobs where you are caught. If you are caught, you will be deported, right? So then your whole goal is curtailed because and the under the table, you will not really make much money. So why don't you channel your energy into focusing, and then once you are done, then you go achieve what you came for. So that's my personal opinion. Somebody will tell me, forget what Fred said, go work under the table. But I'll give you the sound advice, which I think has helped me get where I am now.
I think those concerned with that are those who do not have full scholarship, so they might want support. But as you said, if you have a full scholarship, focus your energy, your attention on it, get there set to be able to work and make more money. Thank you. And when you mentioned 10 hours, I was like, are you serious? And you added that a week. I was like, oh, yeah. I was now relieved.
Yeah. Now the
10 hours
and even,
a week.
Yeah, and even if you don't have full funding, right? Again, it's something you know before coming, right? So sometimes I get that we come with faith that once we get here, everything will work. So again, and again, it's personal. I believe there is a place for faith. Yeah. So, but even if you have, again, you would know before coming. So there are some games, or maybe like you should have your strategy coming in. Maybe when I come in, I'm going to work XYZ. I think for me, what's really difficult for me to get is if you are caught. So I know people who I told, quote unquote, don't come, that they came. What happened is 2 months into their program, they were told they have to leave. So they ran away from the school and they went to hide somewhere. Okay. And then you enter the state. Yeah, you enter the state where you are illegal. So now it's like, so I don't know. My personal advice. Yeah. So
a good advice. Please, can you give a brief highlight on the various steps to consider in the school application process? We're talking about funding, but can you help with the school application process too?
Yeah, so for school application, it depends on what you're applying for, right? Are you coming for undergrad? Are you coming for master's, Ph.D? They are all, I think they are similar, but sometimes different. The reason I say so is, let's say you're coming for MBA. I think there is something called a business class. that they use to kind of centralize most applications, right? If you're coming for public health, it will be the same thing. I think it's SOFAS. It's a centralized application system, right? So the first one, you identify the school. Some things are basic. They are going to ask. It could be your transcript, test scores like GRE, GMAT. Now they are optional. So I think it depends on the school, but your best bet will be go to the school, right? Or ask around. Maybe you know people who have schooled in other places. So just ask them, right? What did you do in order to get here? Then you start prepping for it. So you find out what they need, letters of recommendation, and then you start gathering these materials. So and just pay attention to deadlines. Once you have all these, then nothing stops you from applying. You just go ahead and apply.
Okay, thank you. And please, from Josephine, as a prospective international student, how early should I start my application process for an undergrad degree in the US?
Undergrad degree, I will say that honestly, be done by the end of the year. So if you're hoping to come August, September-ish 2024, by the end of December, I would say be done. The reason I'm saying that is, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I know students who have full scholarships and are still sitting in Ghana because they didn't get visa dates.
Okay.
Right. So the faster you apply, schools also process your documents faster. You can get a date. So that's the first thing. The other thing is every school has a deadline, especially with funding. So they give out the funding within a certain range. So if you don't make that deadline, then unfortunately you can't even be considered. So start as early as you can, reach out to people for help. I'm on LinkedIn. If you reach out, like specifically, this is my question, I can address it and say, okay, XYZ, do this. These are the schools, maybe with your criteria or with your stats. These are the ones to kind of focus on. And I think we will go from there.
Double thanks to that. We have another question what is the advice you give regarding settling in as an international student, especially keeping up with the school workload and guidance on cost of living? I think this for someone who doesn't have a full scholarship. So what's the advice you give concerning keeping up with the school workload and guidance on cost of living? The person wants to do it legitimately. We want to help.
Yeah, valid question. So I would say that, again, it depends on what you are coming for, but you can always, again, once you reach out to either friends or people who you know attend the school, one, you can get help by sharing rooms. Like, I did 1 year in Katanga, and it was 4 people in a room, right? Like, I was at Tech for a year. So just like that, here, there are, like, you can find friends, get a room, share the room, split the cost. Again, it's a sacrifice period. It's a period of sacrifice. You have to be willing to go through it and then know that there are brighter days ahead. So whatever it is, find those people. Can I be your roommate? Share it. Obviously be neat. Don't be the dirty roommate. But find roommates, right? So then you are cutting down on cost. And then in terms of food, instead of maybe just buying food from outside, you cook, right? So you buy the ingredients in bulk, you cook, and then you can kind of save. Now it's called lifestyle creep, but it's something that happens a lot. Like people get here, I want to eat all the burger, I want to eat all the pizza. You will run out of money if you don't have a full scholarship. In terms of managing academic work, I think for most people I've seen, it's not as demanding. But if it is, there are always tutoring hours. There are always office hours. There are office for career development to help you catch up to classes if you feel behind. So use the system. You have free internet. Like that's one thing you get here for sure. No modem.
Wow. No data charges.
No data charge. You pay your phone bill, but if you're on campus, you get that, right? So YouTube, Khan Academy, you can learn a lot. Like most buildings will come with internet as well, right? Like for students. Or if not, it's like you can't function without internet. So internet will not be the limitation. Go on YouTube. There are things I still go on YouTube, I Google, and I start learning, right? So just employ these things and know that the system is not just going to be handed to you. No, you have to work for some of these things. And so just have that mindset, I'm going to pay the price, whatever it takes. And then I think with that, it's easy to balance finances, schoolwork, and kind of general life here.
All right, thank you. And please, to us on Zoom, We are still taking questions from you, even though we have more here, but you can still raise your hands and have your questions asked. Thank you. Please, what advice would you give to married couples with one spouse studying abroad and the other planning to join him or her? With the way you are smiling there, you have all the apple.
That's a very personal question for people. And so again, everything I say, it's just my opinion or
Which is more
whatever.
than 50% right.
Yeah, so it's challenging. There is something called F2 visa, where if you are coming, and again, this is the US, if you get a F1, you are coming, you can apply for your wife and even your kids to come. I think when they come, again, I don't remember, but I think when they come, they are limited in some ways in what they can do and what they cannot do. So that may be something to consider, whether you want them to just come and stay, or so it's called F2 visa. You can read up on it if you are married and decide what is the best thing to do. If not, again, most programs, like if it's a PhD, 5 years, you can decide, okay, I'm going to crunch it out. I'm going to like do the PhD with my wife and stay in Ghana, or the wife is going to come, the husband will just stay in Ghana, do whatever they were doing, and maybe I'll come and visit. The advantage is normally when you are done, and a company has you for maybe H-1B or something like that, that one allows, like, it has more flexibility than the student one. At least that's what I know, right? I didn't go through that, so I may not be able to answer it accurately. But my advice is there are two things. Either they come on the F2, which I know you can't do some things, or you just let them stay. And then once you are done and the company hires you, then the company is able to help and give you more things to do with your spouse joining you.
Okay, so the opportunities will be more when you get employed.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Thank you. Please, we have a question that how do I overcome the stress of schoolwork being an international student? You mentioned that sometimes it's not so demanding, but others have the fear that it could be. So if that is the case, what advice will you give?
Yeah, it's true. Again, and everybody's capacity may be different. But trust me, see, you'll not be the first person to do it, right? I'm not the first person speaking for PLC, right? So
yes.
A lot of people have done all the things that we want to do in life. So we go to those people and ask them, like, if your program is a 2-year program and you just got in, you can find a friend who is in the 2nd year and ask them, hey, I'm going to take these classes you've taken. What was your strategy for passing, right? And just learn from them. I think when you try to be an island by yourself, that's when you really struggle. But find friends in the class who are doing well. Me, if you know something better than me, you become my friend automatically, because I want to learn. Like, I want to learn what you know. So find those people, ask them. Again, you can always go talk to the professors. And I think it's different from the Ghana professors, at least from my experience in USD. Like, you go talk to them, like, hey, I'm having struggles. They will refer you to either the TA for the class or like the tutoring center, and you can get further advice. It can be challenging, but there are resources that you can take advantage of that would help you make it easier.
All right, thank you. So there's always a way out. Find out from those ahead and collaborate. Don't be an island. Thank you so much. Christy, please, your hand is raised. Please unmute yourself and ask any question.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. So, for the past, I think 4 months, I've been trying to apply for a scholarship for accounting, master's in accounting, and I've been finding some difficulty in getting, schools that provide scholarship for such a course. I don't know, maybe I'm not looking hard enough or something. So someone suggested that if I'm not getting the master's in accounting, then I should try the courses that offer scholarships. So, because I've been seeing other courses which are not accounting related, but then I see scholarships attached to it. So the person was like, then why don't I try and then apply for that course? When I get there, I finish studying that course, and then fortunately I'm able to get a work permit, get a job, then I can do what I wanted to do, which is accounting. So I just wanted to find out from Doc if that would be advisable.
Okay.
All right,
Can
thank
we
you,
mute?
Christy.
Can we mute Kingsley, please?
Yes, please, she's muted.
Okay. All right. Great.
Sorry for the
Yeah.
interruption.
I think Kingsley is still speaking. But anyway, let's go on.
It's
Christina, it's a
okay.
valid question. So again, I guess if I'm to ask you the question, it's your goal to be an accountant in the like an accountant in general, like your long-term goal.
Yes, please.
Okay. No, that's so I did my PhD in neuroscience. Okay. The job I'm doing now mostly is people who have an MBA who do it. The flexibility of this country allows that you may study something else. For example, for the accounting, if I really want to switch into accounting now with a PhD in neuroscience, what I would do is I would take a certificate online in accounting and I'll go sit for the CPA exam. That's all I would do. And I'll be an accountant just like anybody who went to school for accounting. So the advice you've received is valid because here you are like you can easily switch careers and you are not tied to just one thing. So if I were you, I will go, maybe it's not accounting, it may be another program, finance, business analytics, public health. Like I really do that program as a way to get in. When my profile was being read, right, during my PhD, I did a certificate in entrepreneurship. I did a certificate in strategic management online, right? So those are the other resources you can take to still realize your goal of being an accountant. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily come in through accounting. Let me give you these two schools to look at. Look at Alabama State University, Masters of Accounting, and look at Northeastern University. They have a joint MBA stroke Masters in an accounting program. So look at these two schools and try to see if they may be of help.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fred, so much. From Christy too, thank you.
So I see a question. How do I get a full scholarship to pursue law program and financial analytics in the USA? Law. So I know most people come here to do LLM, masters in law, but I don't know about the funding. I actually attend church with one guy called Kobe, who is at Harvard doing the masters in law. I can ask about it and then let you know. But I think that's I honestly don't know, and I don't give you any wrong information. But I know people who are doing it, so I can ask and let you know. Financial analytics to me is just the same as business analytics, right? So I would just say that there are schools that are doing that. So just go to the school's website. Again, everything is so school dependent. It's not really about the entire country. There are schools that don't give any scholarships to international students, like zero, but schools that give 100%. So you need to find business analytics. I don't know any school off the top of my head, but it's a common program now that I would say maybe 90% of schools have it. So just find those schools and then find out the scholarships they have, either by being a TA, an RA, or maybe if you have a good score and transcript, you can also just get a full ride as well. So that would be my advice to you, Alfred.
And thank you, Dr. Fred. And we have the privilege of connecting with him on LinkedIn. Yes, thank you.
You can connect with me on LinkedIn and I will try to find the answer to the law scholarship, okay? Because I see them coming, but I honestly don't know how they get the funding for law.
All right, thank you for that too. Please, Kwame wants to know that if you have a partial scholarship, he says, what advice will you give to prospective international students concerning the completion of visa applications, the visa interviews, and will visa process be more difficult in a case if I have a partial funding rather than a full funding? Will the visa process be difficult?
I don't use the word difficult per se. And again, it goes back to the first point of the embassy is there to make sure that anybody coming into this country, I think, does not become, for lack of better words, become a burden, quote unquote, right, to the country. So if you have a full scholarship, it's like, oh, everything is taken care of. So then we don't have to worry because the school said come for free. If it is partial, then it gets to the question, how are you going to pay?
How do we, okay.
So I think that's where it becomes like, I want to, oh, that's a different, yeah. So I think that's why it becomes that you need to show that, or the finances becomes the most important thing if you're on partial. Whereas if you're on full, then you can focus on other things. But if you're on partial, I think, yes, you need to focus a lot on proving at the embassy that your finances are solid and you have a way of covering whatever amount is not covered for you.
Okay. Thank you. Please, is there a full scholarship for a master's student in economics?
I think there are actually a lot. So, well, let me take that back. I don't know, but give me 1 second. Again, I'm going to just spit out schools. I mean, maybe type them in the chat. So, Illinois State University, Western Michigan University.
Please, let's take notes.
Yeah,
please, you can mention them. Don't worry, you mention them.
So Central Michigan University, Montana State University, South Dakota State University, Ohio University, University of Rochester, North Dakota State University, University of New Mexico, University of Vermont. A friend sent me this list a while ago. So you just need to go and ask if like they are still offering the scholarships, right? And then I guess you can go from there. So I think economics, yeah, because like one guy I'm kind of friends with, he's doing a PhD in economics, but then he came here to do a master's and then switched to master's in economics. And again, there are many schools. These are just the only ones I know. Yeah. So you need to do more research, find the other schools, and then go from there.
Okay, thank you. Please, Esther wants to know that how do I apply for scholarship for nursing abroad?
Nursing abroad, is it nursing as a master's or nursing as undergrad? Because it's two different things.
Nursing as an undergrad, please.
Nursing as undergrad means you are coming just as an undergrad. So here you don't decide. I mean, it's not like Ghana where we apply to the school to go do medicine. Like I'm going to the school to do engineering, right? Mostly you can come to the school. Like I entered as a business administration major and I switched to biology. So that's why I'm like, if you want to do nursing, then you are just coming as an undergrad. So you are coming like any other. So find schools that have nursing, which I would say most schools. And then from there, find their funding. So my very own niece or nephew, it's coming to do nursing. She took the SATs. She has good whatever, and then that's how she's coming. So that's how to find schools for nursing.
Okay. So when you find the schools, you get to know about their funding too.
Yeah, and then
it's very common. Okay, so Esther, hope you've been answered. Thank you, Dr. Fred. And Christy, your hand is still raised. Please, do you have any other question?
Yes, Victoria. Thank you. So before I ask the main question, I just wanted to ask a quick question to Doc. Please, did you apply for the scholarship or you were, should I say, chosen or selected?
No, oh yeah, good question. So no, all my scholarships have come just attached to some criteria, right? So again, that's the thing, and Chris, that's about it. Some scholarships you have to apply for, so they have different deadlines. Some scholarships, once you apply to the school for admission, you are automatically considered, right? And I think most of the ones I've had are automatic, but I've applied for other ones just because I wanted money for myself, not because I needed it for school. And so you can look at both and then go from there.
It's not quite clear. Like you said, you when you finished high school in Ghana and then you went to abroad for your undergrad. So I just wanted to know if you applied for it, or maybe let's say you were given the scholarship out of merit or something.
So Christy, again. So Christy, again, every scholarship or most scholarship will be based on merit. Some of them you can just get because you fulfill. Yeah, but I think most of them. So I did high school in Ghana. You are right. And when I was applying, I applied as a freshman. So I took the SAT, right? And I knew that, okay, It's just like going to SS. Maybe if you get 10 ones in your BEC, you can go to class A schools. If you get 7 ones, you can go to class B or whatever, right? So my score, I knew that I would not get a full scholarship at Harvard, like point blank, right? So I didn't look at Harvard. I looked at schools where my score would give me a full scholarship. And those were the schools that I applied. And again, how did I find out? I asked people who had gone ahead of me, and I gathered this information. I applied to those schools. So once I sent in my application, right, because I met those criteria, it was automatic. And sometimes too, you can send an email and be like, I've applied to the school. This is my, these are my stats. I have this score, this, and I hope I'm considered for the scholarship, and see what happens. So Christy, that was my experience. I applied because I met that criteria. I was automatically given the scholarship.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So meaning you didn't get any agent to do it for you, you did it all by yourself.
What do you mean by agent?
You see, some people get agents, to try and look for scholarships for them, the application process and everything. And then someone who can just decide to sit behind his or a computer and then do everything.
I think the reason we are having these conversations is because I think the leaders want you to know what you can do for yourself. I say, like, it makes me sad. I was speaking with a girl maybe the earlier part of this year. She paid about $5,000 to this guy. Apparently he's based in Canada. And then after paying the 5,000, like, I looked at the girl's results, it was mostly like F9. But the guy had convinced her that if she pays him 5,000, he can help the girl get here. I told the girl on the first time we spoke that I can tell you that there is no way you cross the visa interview. Like, it's not a case. Like, I'm not cursing the girl, but I just told her that with this, I know you wouldn't get it, and she didn't. But she had paid 5,000. So not all the agencies are bad, but be very careful the agencies you spend money to. Christy, if you want to do nursing, one agency I would say look at, and I know because again they have the evidence, right? So always ask for which people have they sent to the US. It's called Walden, WALDEN, Walden Test Prep. They are based in Accra in Kumasi. And I know them because I've sent people to them, and I can tell you they are credible. So that's one group I'll recommend to you. Other ones I don't know, but I am very wary of people giving these agents so much money, and they give them most of it zero. So just be careful if you are paying. At a point, I'm like, I think I should probably start it as a business too, because people are just paying money. Yeah, people are just paying money for nothing. So that's my only caution. That make sure that, Christy, if you're going to pay the money, let them show you the work, people they've helped on those things that they said they can deliver, and then go from there.
Yes, and I think Christy is for finance and accounting, but the agency will still be the same. He mentioned a credible one. So if you have any challenge, you can reach out to those agencies or himself. He's available for us. And
okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome, Christy. Please.
And I have another question.
Wow, Christy. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, don't worry.
So aside, the funding issue we are all facing now, especially if you don't get a full scholarship and get a partial scholarship where the school is not going to cater for your hostel, that's another problem where you have to look at, because
the accommodation.
The accommodation. Because someone was saying that if you don't know anyone outside whom you are going to live with or stay with for, in case you should get a scholarship, it will be quite difficult. So I just wanted to know, how do you go about that if you don't know anyone at all there, but then you have to, fund for your hostel or something? Who are you going to speak to, especially when you are clueless about these hostel issues and stuff? Who are you going to speak to and all that?
Yeah, Christy, again, that school, you will not be the first student they are having, right? Neither would you be the first international student they are going to have. again, I think life has become so easy for me because I'm not afraid to learn and ask people, how did you do it? Okay, so again, speak to the International Students Office. Can they connect you with an normally for me, I ask for an African, because when I ask for the African, I ask them, shall they tell me the reality on the ground, right? There is the actual answer, but African can tell you, hey, this is how we do it to survive, right? Like if you don't have a school scholarship, again, that's why I gave the example of Katanga. We're 4 in a room, right? So you not come to the US and just get a mansion to yourself. No, for the 2 years for your master's, Christy, you're going to share. There is also this company called, again, I'm not promoting any company or something, but I'm just sharing what I know. I know someone who came for an MBA, didn't have a place to stay, stayed with me for 2 weeks, but he got a loan from Prodigy Finance. So they give loans to people. So you can look at them, and they have some schools that you have to attend to get a loan. So his school paid for the tuition, but for where to stay, he took the loan from Prodigy. By God's grace, he's doing well, finished his MBA, got a good job, and he's paying off the loan and he's doing well. So you can also look into loans if you qualify for.
Okay, so the loans and the schools, those companies give loans to. All right, thank you. Christy, please, are you answered?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to know if there is a scholarship for a master's in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship for me, again, I like to classify things. Entrepreneurship to me is business, starting your own business. So it's business. So maybe it may not be specifically entrepreneurship, but I'm going to take any master's that is business, maybe in economics, maybe in this. Because again, if you have economics, like I know people in economics who are, or let's look at the CEOs of companies that we know, MTN, or I mean, any other company you can name in Ghana. Not all of them are business, okay? So and again, I say this because I think when you're coming from Ghana, you do science, then you can go do science things, right? But here it's not like that. So Becky, I'm saying that to mean that I listed some schools for economics. You can look into them. And not all the schools may have entrepreneurship per se. But if that's what you are passionate about, how about you do a master's in economics and you do a certificate in entrepreneurship, right? I did my PhD in neuroscience, but I have a certificate in entrepreneurship. So that's how you should think about it. It's not a one way. It's which other means can I use to get to my goal? That would be my advice.
So many ways leading to the same destination.
So many ways.
Not like heaven where you have only Jesus. That's great.
That's a good one. I like that. I think Ernest hand is up.
Ernest, yes. Ernest, please speak.
Okay. Thanks for the opportunity given.
Yes. You're welcome.
Mr. Okay. So I want to know, please, can you give us an overview of the education, the studies abroad? How is it like? Like, I want the reality on the ground. I have a friend who went there and was telling me, Charlie, the thing is like, yes, please, how is it like? Just flow us. Because like we are all interested in going to study abroad, but we don't know actually what it takes. Like someone saying, I'm going to study at this university. Don't know what actually it takes to be in that university. So I wanted to give an experience. Like, how is it like abroad now?
No, and it's a valid question, right? And again, it will depend on experience, right? Or it will depend on individual, right? Some people are what we call sharp brain, so maybe they absorb the material faster and they're able to do it, right? But I think there is some adaptation phase, right? For everything you start to do. When you start, you may suck at it and then you get better. So you need to figure out, okay, for me, my PhD, I took classes within my first year, and then the other years were research. Some of the classes I didn't know, but I made friends and I asked them, okay, this is it. It's actually a little more easier compared to Ghana, where we are doing Baba. Like if you don't memorize it, Ghana, you fail. But here you may likely see it. It's a concept. The teacher will make it practical. So those things may help you remember. Some people have realized like to make things like Charlie easy. They say it for the fun of it, and it discourages people. So I don't like to take that part. It's very doable, right? And so I would say that do what you have to do to get here. When you get here for your specific school, you discover what works for you. Maybe that your friend has become lazy when they got here because they were expecting apples to fall from heaven or manna to fall from heaven. and that's not going to happen. You have to put in the work, right? Like, yeah, you have to work hard. So Ernest is doable. It will depend on everybody's experience, but once you get here, you will figure out what works for you. And once you are willing, you can easily do it. Trust me, it's not as mysterious as people make it seem. I really hate it when people try to make it seem, because some just like, oh my Bible, like who cares? It's what Bible today. So, and I just know that you can do it. Get here, and then let's go from there.
All right, thank you so much. It's very doable from Dr. Fred. So don't be afraid. The environment you should adjust when you get there. That's what they all did. From the weather to every other thing. Yes, it's adjustable. All right, please, we taking the last question, if there's any from Zoom.
Yeah, because I was late. I'm fine going to like the 20th minute mark.
Wow. That's great. Please, more questions. If you have any concern, you can raise your hands, okay? But in the meanwhile,
Vic,
yes.
So this is a personal question to Doc. Are you planning to stay there forever, or you come back to Ghana?
Wow.
That's an interesting
Should I come in?
Oh no, I can answer. I mean, right now, I think with my PhD, if I come to Ghana, I would not be able to work, because Ghana just doesn't have the resources, right? Like one little thing you would need for like a scientific experiment is $600. That's 6,000, and I need about 20 of them. So like to begin my like antibodies, right? Like because of that. So if I come now, it is actually a detriment to me, but in the future, our future goes off coming to Ghana. Yeah, but right now I think and I mean, this is not just for me. Speak to a lot of professionals and they will tell you the same thing, that it's better to use your skill here, and then maybe at a level when you are kind of senior. It's like, for example, if you're in business, like Christy or someone who was asking about business, maybe after school you join EY or Deloitte and you become a partner or a managing director. You can easily move from US to Ghana and everybody will still respect you as a partner. But if you are coming as, I don't know, like common floor member in EY, even from here, if you go to Ghana, still, I mean, some people will respect that you schooled in the US, but it may not carry much weight. So, yeah.
Okay, Christy, are you answered?
Yes, please. But Doc, don't come back. Stay there.
Hey,
don't come to Ghana.
That's an advice. Why not? I'm taking more questions. So if you have any.
I mean, I'm curious, I'm curious what people are doing now, and kind of, so Christy, like, I mean, if I'm to ask your question, like, what are you doing now and what do you want to study here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. So I just completed my national service, and actually I want to become an auditor.
Okay, so
as
business. Okay.
My profession. Yes, I want to become an auditor as a profession. So I've been looking for scholarship opportunities. So for the past, I think 4 months, but it seems I've reached a dead end. So I even thought of getting an agent to do it for me, but it seems maybe if I put in more effort, I can do that on my own.
Yeah, you can do it on your own.
Now that's what I'm basically looking at now.
And then there are many Ghanaians in the US, right, who are studying what you want to study. So go on LinkedIn, message people, but this is something I would advise. Don't think they're going to do the application for you. That's something a lot of people. So when I say reach out to me on LinkedIn, what I mean is reach out to me with questions and I'll provide answers. I'm not going to write your personal statement for you. I'm not going to. Some people want you to take everything and do for them. No, I'm not going to do that for you. Like, that's, yeah.
Thanks for being so frank. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
This you said you want to know, you are curious about us. And
I'm
also curious about Alfred. Alfred, what's up?
So yeah, Alfred, are you? Yeah, tell me what you're doing. Hey, Alfred vanished as soon as you mentioned his name.
He's left.
Yeah, yeah. Dennis, but yeah, if anybody has any other questions, I can take them.
Yes.
I want to ask something.
Sure.
Fred, can you please talk a little bit about the SAT preparation and like materials, like resources for preparation towards writing the SAT? Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, valid question, Sarah. So I think I don't feel like I'm old, but it's more than 10 years now since I took the SAT. Yeah, and I think the study books have changed, but I'll say Khan Academy, it's a good one. So you can go to just online, look up Khan Academy. They teach a lot, and I know people also like you can photocopy some of it's called College Board, right? Like College Board, they administer the exam, so they have books that they make. So I think you can learn from their books as well. Yeah, and yeah, because I'm told the exam is digital, so it's no longer paper, and some of the contents have changed. So I think that's what I can say, Sarah. Like go to College Board, go to Khan Academy, and hopefully that helps.
Okay, thank you. So I also want to ask a little bit about the SAT and the ACT. So if someone is thinking about taking one of these tests, which one would you recommend, the SAT and the ACT?
Sarah, to be very honest, I didn't know much about the ACT, right? And for the person who told us about the possibility of studying in the US, all they told me about was the SAT. And it's only one person I know who took the ACT. And he honestly didn't come to the US when he wanted to come. So he did his bachelor's in Ghana and then came for master's. So I honestly don't know anyone personally who went the ACT route. So I don't know what it is about the ACT, but and even here in the US, I think a lot of people take the SAT actually more than the ACT. That's what I have observed. I may be wrong. And so I think I would say the SAT, maybe it's the one to take. Yeah, but I know the ACT also exists, but I honestly don't know much about it. So I'll just be honest.
Okay, thank you. Please, Dr. Sarah, anything you want to add to it?
No, please. Thank you.
Are you sure? She's actually a Ph.D. student, so that's why I'm present.
Sure.
Full of knowledge. All right, thank you. Please, Ernest, you can ask your question.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity. Okay, so Doc, I want to ask. I had one family of mine who told me to actually write GRE and use it as an application for entering to the UK or the US. I want to know, aside SATs, someone who has completed tertiary, is it also advisable? Is it now applicable now writing the GRE? That's my question, please.
Oh, okay. So yeah, again, because of COVID, right? When COVID happened, what I realized is most schools are now test optional. Test optional means that whether you have the GRE, GMAT, SAT or not, they don't care. Even Harvard, even for undergrad now, you can apply to Harvard without the SAT, and they will still consider you. So you can have your ATs from Ghana, apply, and if you make whatever they are looking for, they will take you. It's the same with the GRE. The GRE is mostly for graduate level. So graduate, I think it's the graduate record exam or something like that. That's what it stands for. So if you took it for grad school, yes, then that's what it's meant for. Some schools want it, some don't. However, there are some scholarships that I know that the only way to tell that you deserve the scholarship is your test score. So then the scores you get on the test show that you are smart enough and they should give you the scholarship. So I tend to be biased and I tell people that take it if you can and use that to support your application, right? So that would be my advice. So if you took it, yes, it's valid. Look for the scores or schools that consider it or schools that may also not consider it and see where you fit within their criteria and apply from there. And is that answering your question?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Wellens.
Thank you. Please, one more question, if anyone has any. Well, hi, Christy. Christy, ask your question, right?
Yes, Vic. Please allow me. Okay,
Yeah,
so
allowed.
I just want to know, what do you think is the estimated amount of money you can use, especially if you get, let me say, a partial funding? Do you think 8,000 Ghana cedis can, fund for it, or it's too small?
8,000.
Also, what's
Eight
it? Yes.
8,000 Ghana cedis. It's just $800. It doesn't pay school fees in any. There is no school in the
It's too
US that's
small.
too very
It's too
small. Yeah.
small.
Yeah. So I
Okay, so
think
what do you think is the estimate? Okay, sure.
so. I think on the school's website they mentioned the cost of attendance, right? So how much if you come to school here it will cost you. I think what I've seen the embassy people say it or the advice I've been told is have money. Let's say, for example, the bank account. If the school fees is $40,000 and you show a bank statement that has 40,000, it means that once you pay 1 year school fees, whatever business, it's gone, right? Because you've taken everything out of it. And so I'm told that you have to have, if it is a master's, have like 3 years, so 3 times of it, so that if you pay for 2 years, you can still have something. If it's undergrad and you have to pay 40,000 a year, then you should have like maybe 5 times it. So always an N+1. So N+1 in that if the N represents how many years, where N
Wow.
represents like the number of years of your program. So that because I mean, just think about it. You show me a bank statement of 40,000, like I said, your school fees is 40,000 a year. Meanwhile, your master's program is 2 years. So it means after paying the first year, how are you going to pay the second year? So that's what I was told. Yeah, so that's what I was told, that always do like an N+1 amount conversion. So
Okay,
yeah.
thanks so much for this insight. Let's get an N+1, the number of years, then a 1 year deposit in addition. All right, thank you. All too soon we end then. So Dr. Fred, please give us your final words on this.
Yeah, so the final words I would say it's there was an actor who won an award, and she used the phrase, I think it was the Wakanda person. She said, "When I look down on this golden stool, may it remind me and every little child that no matter where you are from, your dreams are valid." And that would be what I would say to you, that no matter, I'm from Ghana. I mean, Daniel knows me. I'm from Nkoko. Like that's where my LinkedIn profile is just for Yeboah. You see me. Yeah. I'm from Ghana. My family is in Ghana. My family didn't pay 1 cent to get me here. It's God's grace, and because I got the things that the schools were asking for. So I am no different from you. The fact that I've been able to get this far, again, with God's grace available for everyone, I believe you can also do it. So it takes hard work. It takes hard work. I know someone who took the SAT 6 times, 6 times before they got the score to get to the US. I wanted to come here in 2011. It didn't work out. 2012 was when it worked out, right? And now I talk to you as though 2011 was normal. 2011, I felt like I was going mad because I really wanted to come to the US. It didn't work. Yeah, in 2012, when I wanted to come, my first visa interview, I was denied. And then I went again. That's in 2012, right? And I got it a second time. So I don't want you to think that what you are going through, it's different from what those here like me have gone through. We've been through the same thing. It takes persistence. That's why I believe that nothing in this life is going to be given to you like this. Just take it. No, you're really going to work for it. So set time, spend time. Like, I mean, during our time in the WAS, we'll skip prep and go and sit at internet cafes and be searching schools for full scholarships. Like literally, like I'm telling you the reality of the things we did, right? And again, I'm saying that to encourage you that you can as well do it. People here, don't let anyone frighten you that, oh, won't me, man. No, you can come here. So put in the work, ask for help from people. Like Vic, you mentioned Sarah is also a student here. So you can connect with Sarah on LinkedIn. Ask her, Sarah, this is what I need help with. Like once you write your personal statement and I see that you are serious and you want me to read, then it's easy. But if you tell me to write it for you, like I'm not even going to reply your message. So be willing to put in the work hard at it, and just pray. And I believe you can do it, and ask for help from people like those who have done it. And I mean, you will come from Nkoko or wherever you come from, just like me.
Let's
wherever.
The airways.
Yes,
with our festivals. Yeah.
and then 3 years or 4 years from now, you'll be sitting in my shoes and be advising people. So again, your dreams are valid. It's possible for you to come here. Patience, hard work, God's grace will get you here. That's all I can say.
All right, thank you. Homos, Gans, Krobo, I don't know, festival, but from whichever town, whichever village, he said, we all got the grace. And when we put in the effort, when we ask around, it's possible that anyone can have their dreams achieved. Thanks so much, Dr. Fred. You've been a very wonderful panelist. Thank you for honoring our invitation. And to us all, thanks for joining. I hope it was beneficial and insightful. Let's please pray together. Almighty Father, we thank you. We thank you for all you do for us, for all your plans, and for everything you have in store for us. We entrust in our lives into your hands every single day. Guide our steps. Help us to play our part. And we know that as you do so, you'll be faithful in honoring your promise. We thank you for this discussion. We thank you for helping us do it and for the insights you've gained. We thank you because you help us to apply it. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So to us all, bye. Dr. Fred, thank you so much. I'm sure I'll be the first to connect with you.
Go for it.
Again,
sorry for being late, but thanks for having me.
Oh, you stop apologizing. We'll be forgiven long ago.
Okay,
All right,
bye-bye.
later. Thank you. Bye.